Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Hopefully you're having an awesome day. So I got a really interesting, I think, live stream today. We got Matt Troise. I think I'm saying his name wrong. I'm probably saying it wrong, but from his Keto N Wrestling. So we're having him come on today. We can talk to him a little bit about it. I'm going to bring him out here in a second. I just kind of want to remind folks that I did release a video yesterday. We are going to do the 5K drawing. We're going to give away 3 of the Amazon gift cards. Plus, we are going to, if you're in the, because I got friends and family in the Philippines. So if you're one of the friends and family in the Philippines and or subscribers in the Philippines, we will probably figure out how to do Gcash or something else to compensate you instead of the gift cards, because I know Amazon doesn't go in the Philippines. So go over there and check out that video from Friday the 16th, and it will show and tell you how to enter that. I'm going to bring up Matt, and let's get started. Hey Matt, how are you doing?
How you doing, Alan? What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. I'm having a great weekend. It looks like beautiful weather, and got some exciting stuff going on. How about you?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, it's Father's Day this weekend, so I want to wish you a happy Father's Day.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
So, thank you. Thank you.
Now, you're not married, are you? Or kids?
No. I am engaged though. So yeah. Thank you. So, but no kids yet. No.
Okay. In the future, then.
Yeah, I'm sure in the future, but yeah, I'm having a good time thus far. So
yeah. I saw congratulations too, because of the fact you graduated from college.
Yes. Just graduated, got the bachelor's degree. I'm ready to go, and I'm so stoked that now I could just relax and chill out after work. So yeah, it was really a lot. I was burning the candle at both ends for quite a while, and it's great to kick back and relax now. So
yeah. So Rory was on here. I don't know whether he's still on here, but he asked a ton of questions. We'll get to those questions in a little bit. I just want to say Dark Angel's on here. So, hey, how are you doing, Dark Angel?
Hey.
Dodgers on here. Go Dodgers, I guess. I'm a Red Sox fan, so
sorry that's awesome.
Yankees, but I know they kicked the Yankees butt yesterday, so
yeah.
Let's see who else is on here. Danny's on here as well. Justin from Just Keto's on here. Hey, Justin. I mean, Jason. Oh, boy. Dustin's on here. I got Dustin's on here as well.
Wow.
So, few people on here. So
got a lot of superstars here.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, if you haven't checked out Matt's page, go over there and check out Matt's page. There's a link down there to his page. So go down there. He's got a really interesting page. He does keto, and then part of it is wrestling as well. So, hey, Drunken Chef is on here as well. So a lot of great folks on here. Rory's on here. So just a lot of great folks coming on here. So it's been really, really good. So we're going to talk a little bit about keto today. And then, maybe we'll touch a little bit on wrestling. I'm not that up to date on wrestling. I used to be a fan once upon a time when I was younger. And I think over the years, back when the day when, back for me, it was Haystacks Calhoun and that whole crew from back then, and the Sheik and, Hulk Hogan and that day when I was a kid. But
I know a lot of people say that, they were fans back in the day, and then they just, they stopped watching it. And I understand,
Yeah. I do have a story I'll tell you about my wrestling experience as well later. So tell me a little bit about your keto. When did you start keto?
So, to be honest, I started keto 5 years ago, and it wasn't really something that I was planning to do, because what happened was I kept researching how to reverse high blood pressure naturally, because I was overweight. I had high blood pressure. I had pre-diabetes, and it was just basically from eating everyday foods that I used to eat. And I would eat chicken and rice and go to the gym. I would just eating just regular foods. And I didn't know that it would become the culprit to what would eventually cause all these illnesses. And what happened was I was researching a way to reverse my high blood pressure naturally, because my doctor, he put me on high blood pressure pills, and I also had hypothyroidism, and he put me on a pill for that as well. Yeah, and I told the doctor, like, hey, is there a reason why this is happening? Like, is there something like I'm eating that's wrong or whatever? And he patted me on the leg and said, don't worry, you're going to live a long and healthy life. All you got to do is take these pills and you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about what you're eating anymore. So right there, a light bulb went off right in my head. Like, okay, there's something wrong here. So I was researching, and a guy that kept coming up was Dr. Eric Berg and his YouTube channel about keto. And I was watching some of his videos, and because of the media, that the way the media portrays keto, I always said that I would never go full keto, because they say, oh, you're gonna get gallstones, you're gonna get kidney stones, you're gonna get all kinds of different different side effects that and they just try to steer you away from keto. So I never thought I was going to go full keto, but I started binge watching Dr. Eric Berg, and I said, let me try this for a little while and see what happens. And after literally a few months on keto, all my illnesses were reversed. Literally, everything was reversed. I took my medication. I threw it in the trash. I was like, I don't need this anymore. And I couldn't believe it. Like within like literally 2 months, everything was reversed. Like my blood work was perfect. Everything was amazing. And I just felt, I never felt this good before. Even when I was a teenager, I never felt this good. And like even now, like I have so much energy. Like sometimes I can't even sleep at night because I have so much energy. I'm like, wow, like seriously, like yeah. So it's really given me my life back, and now I'm just paying it forward. Like I'm just trying my best to educate everyone and tell everyone my story and get the message out there that, hey, just because your doctor says there's one way, there may be another way, and you just got to find it in yourself to find the other way sometimes. And that's what I did. I rolled the dice and took a chance, and hey, it paid off immensely.
Here you are 5 years later, huh?
Yeah. And there's no stopping. I feel great. And I mean, I don't ever see myself going back to the standard American diet. They call it the SAD diet, and I don't see myself ever going back to that. And but once in a while doesn't hurt, but I do my best to stay on track. For the most part.
I know. So Rory just asked the question how I started. So I was similar, but I was a little different because I actually went to the doctors and I was pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, and my doctor told me that I should check out keto. So, same conditions, kind of, and I'm not a young guy, at that time I was in my late 50s. Now I'm in my mid 60s. That was almost like you said, about 5 years ago for me too, a little over 5 years ago. And he said, if you don't, next time you come, I'm going to start you're going to start taking insulin or some kind of some kind of diabetic medication and high blood pressure. And he says, you can probably eat correctly and reduce some of your chances and some of your risk. So, but it's really up to you. And I did. And 6 months later, like I said, my blood work was great, and he was super happy, and he gave me a great patient sticker, like a little kid, put it on my shirt and said,
Well, that's great.
Well, but that was cool. But that was how so that's Rory. That's how I started it. Kind of similar to Matt. So,
it's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much when you look at it. Yeah. I mean, just that my doctor, he said, wow, you're a little young to be coming in with these conditions. Yeah. But I saw it in his face. Like, he said, wow, he's going to be a lifelong patient of mine, and I'm going to be with him for decades. And, he was like, wow, I'm starting off, young, but I'm going to be working with him, and I haven't called him in years. So
yeah. Yeah, well, I still go because of my age. I still go every 6 months for my checkup, and it's generally coming in, and he just says, yeah, you're doing really well, and things are really going well. And a couple of times he's done the because of my age, he does the whole balance thing, and then he does flexibility, and he says, hey, those are the two things you should be working on, and stuff of that nature. Because as you get older, falls are a big deal. You break hips and all that stuff. So for me too, as well, my mother was diabetic. I have a brother that was diabetic, and I have other family members that are. So you kind of see what they go through and say, do I really want to go through that?
Right. Yeah. It's really again, terrible.
Like you said, I feel like I'm 35 now. I'm,
feel great, right? I mean, you got to go by the way you feel. Like, if you feel good, just keep doing it. Like, if you feel good, at a certain point, if you start not feeling well, I mean, you got to take a step back and see what are you doing? I mean, maybe it's something you're consuming, maybe it's something you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. I mean, it's always good to take a step back and reevaluate everything and see. See what's going on. I mean, and that's the best approach, really.
Now, do you track macros at all? So
now I never really tracked calories per se. I only did it when I would get a lot of comments on my videos that would ask, okay, how many calories is this? How much protein is in this? How much fat? And how many carbs, of course. But I would always track carbs, like total carbs and then net carbs. But calories per se, I wouldn't normally track. However, I was in the vicinity of 3,000 calories a day, and I was losing weight with 3,000 calories. And of course, I do live a more active lifestyle where I was going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week right after work, and that was really beneficial for me. Like, I felt good. And right now, if I had to give a number per se, I would probably say I'm around 2,500 calories, because I'm not nearly as active as I was, say, before the pandemic. However, I do have my home gym, and I do my best to at least hit the weights at least 3 times a week, and I try to get some walks in throughout the week as well, and do steady state cardio every now and then, and try to do some HIIT training as well. So I try to get that into every week as well.
All right. Wow, that's a lot. So I got some other folks that come in. Lindy has come in from Paleo Barbie. Let's see. Keto Mama Michelle, which, if you didn't know, Keto Mama Michelle is my daughter.
Oh, wow.
She's dropped over 100 pounds. So right
that's
around
amazing.
100 pounds. Yeah. King of Cleveland's here.
That's Jacob.
Let's see who else. Jacob. All right.
Yeah, it's Jacob.
I know there's other people that came in here, and I know I'm missing them. So I'm just trying to. I don't want to miss anybody, but. Oh yeah, the Bud Files are here. Hey, how you guys doing in good old South Dakota? So, all right, I guess that's everybody that's kind of come in and out. So, so tell me, you talked a little bit about how you feel these days. So, can you tell the difference between when you're in ketosis and when you're not in ketosis?
Yeah, actually, I can. Like, my mind feels so much clearer when I am in ketosis. Like, I'm very clear-minded. I could focus more, and I feel like I have a more steady amount of energy when I am in ketosis, rather than, let's say, if I went off one meal, or I could feel it right after. Like, I feel a little bit crummy. I feel a little bit lethargic. I don't feel as sharp as I normally do. And yeah, I definitely feel the difference when I am in ketosis and when I'm not in ketosis. So yeah, but other than that, like I prefer feel the feeling of ketosis rather than not being in ketosis. But what about you, Alan?
I would say the same thing. I would tell you even that, like, we went out to dinner last night, and when we were out to dinner, I don't know what, there was something in it. I had a ribeye steak, and they put something on the ribeye steak, and it was sweet.
Oh.
And I will tell you, last night it made me sweat like crazy, and I felt like I didn't feel good. So it's just kind of that whole, you don't know how bad you felt until you feel good, right? Because it was every day it was like that before, and now it's like you said, it's that tingling in the brain, clarity. You just feel more energetic. You don't want to sit around the house. I don't want to sit around the house now. I'd like to be up and doing stuff and going for walks and stuff. Whereas before I was pretty much a couch potato and watching TV, and and now a lot of that has changed for me. So, so it's really, really beneficial to me. So going out and going places like this weekend, we're going to go out and we're going to go up to Santa Barbara and walk around and have fun and enjoy ourselves, and something before that would have been pretty limited. Went for a nice walk yesterday. My wife and I went for a really nice walk yesterday, and enjoying the nicer weather we're having for a change. So
that's good. That's great.
Yeah. So Rory, we're going to answer some of his questions before I get too buried in other questions or other comments here. So make sure that you guys, if you're over there and if you're a creator, make sure you go over there and check out. There's a lot of great creators in here, like Dustin and Lindy and and Jason, I should say. I don't know why I keep saying Justin. Jason. I have a son named Jason. You would think that I would. And there's a lot of, I don't know whether Rory has one or not, but so he asked the question, who or what inspired you to do keto? Is there a particular person or inspired? And I think you answered it a little bit.
Yeah. To be honest, yeah, like I'd say no one really inspired me to do keto. However, when I was binge watching Dr. Eric Berg's videos on YouTube, I saw his transformation, and I saw that it looked like it worked. And honestly, I feel like that was definitely motivational for me to begin this journey and to start this journey, because if I didn't find Dr. Eric Berg's videos, I don't know what I would have done, because I was searching for alternative methods to reverse high blood pressure, and what kept coming up on Google and was the Mediterranean diet and also the DASH diet.
Yeah.
And I tried those as well. I tried those before starting keto, and the DASH diet was terrible. It basically reducing salt and pretty much having every other food that I was having, just reducing the salt, and that was a catastrophe. I mean, I felt terrible on that diet, and also the Mediterranean, I felt maybe a little bit better, but I just didn't feel. I just still didn't feel right. Like I just felt like I was still lacking. But yeah, other than that, like no one really inspired me to do it. However, it was definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. And it was probably the same thing for me. It was probably one of the big ones was Thomas DeLauer. Was
Thomas
one of the ones
DeLauer.
that I kind of connected with first. He was probably one of the, because I guess he's so popular, right? The guy's got 3 million viewers and over 3 million viewers, and he's kind of changed a lot since when I started following back 6 years ago. But I still watch him because he has great information, and he's not. I'm going to say he's not so strict that he has some. He does a lot of fasting, I guess, is what I'm kind of saying, and he does keto, but he also does the fasting stuff, and he also does some workout stuff, and but he was one of the first ones that I think I started looking at, and again, he's a big keto Mediterranean person, so he does a keto Mediterranean style diet, so which is going to lead me into the next question a little bit, because Rory's asking, is keto for everyone?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I'll give you my opinion. So
that's a good one. Well, to be honest, I feel like everyone could benefit from a variation of keto. If, of course, if you have medical conditions, I mean, if you have weight to lose, if you're not feeling well with your current state of diet, I'd say sure. I mean, you could definitely benefit from it. However, it all depends. Like, say if you're a triathlon athlete, if you require to have more carbs, of course, you could indulge and have more carbs. However, if you're just like a regular person, you go to work, you come home, you don't have a lot to do, I'd say that yeah, keto is would be definitely beneficial. And it's with keto, you don't feel like you have as many cravings too, so you don't really feel like you have to eat as often. In fact, I've ended up saving money eating keto. Like I used to eat 2 meals out, now I eat 1 meal out when I'm at work. So it's definitely a saver in that aspect as well. So yeah, I feel anyone could benefit from keto. Absolutely.
Yeah. My point, I think my thought is that keto is really, and again, and because I'm actually have adapted my keto lately to a little lower fat than what I would say what the standard keto is. And I think keto is really what you make of it. Because I know there's people that are vegan out there that are doing keto. There's people that are carnivore, and that's keto, form of keto. So there's a lot of spectrums in between that you can go through. And so you can make it whatever you want. Keto is really just getting your body into ketosis, and how you eat is really up to you. There's people that do that 1 meal a day. I'm more of a 3 meal a day or a 2 meal a day person. But it's really what you make of it. So do I think it's for everyone? I think you need to find out what works for you and what's successful for you. So again, like so for me, I've taken where I've kind of lowering my carbs a little bit, and I'm reducing my fat a little bit, and I'm up in my protein. So I'm trying to keep that muscle and build that muscle a little more. At the same time, I don't have to lose a lot of weight. I'm pretty close. I'm at my goal, or I'm actually below my goal, or what my goal was. But I had decided I wanted to kind of be a little more leaner, try to get a little leaner for the summer, being around the pool and stuff. So I started doing this, and I don't know if you ever watched Marie Emmerich.
Marie Emmerich,
because she's a big proponent of lower fat and higher protein.
Oh yes,
She's been
yes.
Yeah, she does a protein sparing modifying fast. She was famous for that, and I actually did that in 2021. I had huge success with it. So I'm not going to that extreme this summer, but been pretty successful. And I've been dropping every week that I've been doing it, with the exception of the couple of weeks we went away. And so it's been working well for me. But again, will I do it forever? No, I'll go back probably more closer to the standard keto way of higher fat here once I get to where I want it to maintain. And then I'll up my carbs a little bit based on, how I maintain. So, it's what you make of it. You have to find something that works for you. Don't do something that, and that's a thing about carnivore for me is carnivore would be something I could do for 30 days or 60 days, but it's not sustainable for me. And it's not, am I teaching my body the right eating habits?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not sustainable for me, so.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different forms of keto, like you said, too. I mean, there's so many different forms that you could try. I mean, there's clean keto, dirty keto, lazy keto.
Yeah.
I mean, ketovore. That's another one. Yeah. I mean, carnivore. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different forms of keto you could try. I mean, you just got to, like you said, you got to find what works best for you.
Yeah, what works best for you. So, and then he's asking, and I'm assuming Rory probably knows some of these answers, some of these questions, but he's asking about whether keto is healthy for people with seizures.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, that's what keto originally started as, right? To help patients with seizures. I mean, that was the original concept of keto, and it actually helped them. It actually benefited from if they were experiencing seizures. I mean, it would benefit definitely. But they were doing more of a therapeutic form of keto. Am I correct with that, Alan? I believe so.
Yeah, it was more. Yeah, it was a lot stricter. So they really limited the types of food you can eat, and whereas and no net carbs, it was pretty strict. From my understanding, I can't say I've ever done it. So, but from whenever we talked about it.
Yeah, it was like mostly fat, right? Like it was like at least 80 to 90% fat. Like it was just pure. Yeah, it was. But I've never tried that form, therapeutic keto. But I could assume there would be a benefit for that as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know there's people in here that can probably answer that better, because I know there's people in here that have lived through that and probably have had that kind of. I'm trying to see if there's anybody in the comments that's actually used to have seizures or anything else. And I know it also helps with headaches and all kinds of other stuff as well. But yeah, it definitely, like I said, epilepsy was one of the original reasons that keto's been around. And if you watch Dr. Eric Berg, keto has been around since 1856 or something like that. Was the first official paper written on the ketogenic diet. Of course, it wasn't called the ketogenic diet back then, but it was restricting carbs and all that stuff. And it was by a gentleman in England, my understanding was, from what Dr. Eric Westenberg talks about on his page and stuff. So it goes back a long ways. This is not something new. So now this is an interesting question that he asked about keto. What is keto cycling, and can it help you lose weight on the ketogenic diet? So I can't say I've done or real familiar with keto cycling. I have an idea of what it is, but I don't know if you
keto cycling. Yeah, I've actually done that with so it's basically like cycling carbs. So let's say you were to be clean keto Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, you would incorporate carbs into your diet. And this protocol, I would say it would benefit you if you're working out on a continual basis. If you're working out 3 to 5 times a week, going to the gym, this would be beneficial for you if you're trying to, let's say, put on some muscle. But if you still have weight to lose, I'd say this protocol isn't the best approach. I mean, however, if your goals are to gain muscle, this would be an actual good approach if you wanted to try this protocol. But I actually used to do a variation of this when I was going to the gym, because on the weekends sometimes we go out and we go off a little bit. So I would go off and maybe have a cheat meal here and there, and sometimes it would turn out to be a whole day that I would cheat. And yeah, I mean, that would fall under the precursors of, say, like keto cycling. So I would have more carbs on the weekend, and but then I would be clean throughout the week.
All right, so there's some conversation. Like I say, I don't know that much about it. I probably did a form of it, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. But we kind of all have those weekends, especially if you're going and visit friends and families or barbecues and outings and stuff like that. You kind of probably doing some form of it.
Yeah. I mean, I actually just did something where I had a barbecue last weekend, and what I did was I saved up my carbs for the whole week. So I had, instead of having 50 grams of total carbs a day, I cut it to 25 every day. So by time Sunday hit, I had 150 grams of carbs to use on that day. So I was able to indulge, and I actually felt pretty good doing that. And then the next day, I just went right back on to keto and clean keto, and I felt great. I actually didn't have any side effects from that.
So a couple more questions. So Dark Angel just asked a question about is sweet and low a good sugar substitute? And you can answer that one, Matt, and then I'll give you my opinion of it too. So.
I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't recommend it. Honestly, yeah. I mean, with all the chemicals that are in that, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, for me, it would really harm my gut. Like it wouldn't work for me, because literally I would run to the restroom right away. Like it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. And matter of fact, I try to. I only use it if it's an emergency, or it's a I say last choice, right? So Splenda or Equal, because it's maltodextrose, and believe it or not, it's a form of sugar. So it says sugar substitute, but it's sugar. So I'm not so sure about sweet and low, but I wouldn't use it, and I wouldn't use the Splenda or the Equal unless it was the sugar of the last resort, right? And I guess it's better. And also Splenda, a packet of Splenda has 1 carb in it.
It has carbs.
Yeah, so people think, well, it's because it's a sugar substitute, it doesn't have any carbs. Well, guess what? If you're putting it in your coffee and you put 3 of them in there, you just put 3 carbs in your coffee. So
carbs add up. Yep,
they can add up really, really fast. And then Rory's asking another question. So, and this was, do you track macros? Do you have to track macros on your food? Or what do you use? So if you do,
I mean, I haven't used any apps per se, but I know there are some apps that work very well, like MyFitnessPal and Carb Manager. They work quite well, but I haven't used those per se, but I have seen videos where they do work very, very well, very efficiently, actually, in tracking your macros. However, I've never had to. I never really tracked calories or macros per se, but if I was to, I'd say that I was hitting my protein goals, and my carbs were at the bare minimum of what I wanted them to be. But those were the 2 macros I was really concerned with per se. But then the fat, like it would come and go. I mean, but the higher the fat, of course, the more calories as well. So just keep that in mind. So, but what do you think, Alan?
So for me, I was just reading Dustin's, should I say, but anyway, my thought on it is it's a good thing to do when you're first starting out, just to understand what you're eating. I'm a big believer that total carbs is a lot better than net carbs, because when you get into the net carbs, then you start doing math in your head, and it's really easy to mess up. But if you're not going to do total carbs, because of the fact you can look at a package and say, hey, this is 2 carbs, this is 10 carbs, and then you have a really good understanding of how many carbs you're eating. Again, I do track. I use Carb Manager. I'm not going to say I track all the time. I get lazy, and I do a lot of it because of the fact for the channel, but I also do it occasionally. Like, I'll stop doing it for a while. And then if I start gaining weight, I'll do it again to try to understand what am I introducing to my diet that I shouldn't, so, is it the heavy cream? Is it the, whatever it is, am I something creeping in? Because what happens for me anyway, is I get carb creep. So, I start off at 20 total carbs, and then it goes, before I know it, I'm, way higher. I'm up to 70 total carbs, and I'm saying, oh, wait a minute, I'm putting an extra pound or 2 on. What am I doing here? And I think I'm eating right, but I must be doing something wrong. And I'll use it as a tool to understand what I'm eating, or the amounts of food that I should eat sometimes too. So, what's a half a cup of vegetables? What's a half a cup of broccoli look like? It ain't much, right?
Yeah.
But what does it look like? Or what does a cup look like? And, then you can kind of, once you get used to it, you can kind of move away from it a little bit. And then there is some of those 0 carb foods, but I'd be really careful about that too. So, but that's my kind of thought about it. So if you're starting off on it, it's a good idea. To me anyway, it's a good idea to do that, just to understand what you're eating, first of all, and how many carbs are you eating, and then say, hey, what do I got to cut out, and what do I got to change? And because I don't think people realize what they're eating, so, or how much. They're saying, oh, it's vegetables, and they'll have a big plate of it, and things like spinach, and some of the broccolis are pretty, or some of the vegetables are pretty low carb, but some are not.
Yeah, you could overindulge with veggies. I mean, Brussels sprouts are. I like to have Brussels sprouts with bacon grease, like fry them up in a cast iron pan. Those are delicious. But yeah, you could overindulge with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I kind of agree with Dustin. There's certain things you want to stay away from, right? And that's just those high carb foods anyway. Just, you don't want to be eating cakes and stuff like that. And now, do you do any fasting? Because we're always asking, are you doing any fasting, or we do any fasting?
Yeah, intermittent fasting. So what happened was I just wasn't hungry when I first started doing keto, and I was doing intermittent fasting without me even knowing it. So I was skipping a meal, and I would eat eventually in the afternoon, and I was doing intermittent fasting before I even knew it. When I would see it on YouTube, and I say, "Oh, I'm doing that too." So it actually comes with the territory with keto, and it's almost like a marriage per se. Like keto and intermittent fasting, like they work hand in hand. So yeah, like literally, I wouldn't eat until 3, 4, 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and that would be my first meal, and then I would have another meal around like 8, 9 p.m. and then I'd be done for the day, and then I wouldn't get hungry again until the next day. So, but of course, you work your way up to that point. Like, for me, I wasn't doing it intentionally, but it just happened like that, where you don't feel as hungry if you're doing keto correctly. You don't feel as hungry, and that was my experience with it. But what about you, Alan?
Oh, I think, I don't intentionally intermittent fast, but I think it kind of happens. And I guess because I get up in the morning and I have a cup of coffee, and it's kind of a cross between a bulletproof coffee, what I guess they call a bulletproof coffee, and a regular coffee, because I don't put as much stuff in it as I used to. But that's the only thing I have for breakfast. I know it breaks a fast, so it's technically not a fast. But generally I'm still full from the night before, so I'm not hungry in the morning. Even on the weekends when I get up, my wife will get up and say, "Oh, you want to get some breakfast?" I said, "No, let's wait and have a cup of coffee or two. Wait until 10 or 11 o'clock, and then we'll have breakfast." And it's more of a brunch, just because I'm not really, really hungry. So, like you said, it just kind of naturally progresses that way, and then you start eating more intuitively versus to the clock.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I'll start getting hungry around 3, 4, 5 p.m. and then I know it's time to eat. And then at that time when it's time to eat, like I'll be craving, say, high fat, uh, moderate protein foods. Like I wouldn't be craving like say chips or pretzels or anything like that. Like
yeah,
before, before keto, I had all types of cravings. Like I would crave, like in the morning, I would wake up and bagels will be on my mind and donuts. Like it's crazy.
yeah,
You could call me an addict. I was a carb addict, and
yeah,
yeah, like that. That's how I was before. But now I don't get those feelings anymore, and I just feel like I know exactly what I want to eat, like a variation of different foods that I would like to eat. I'm perfectly fine getting a salad, with some chicken or beef or salmon, and topping it with some tomato, and sometimes like I've actually given up dairy, to be honest, like the last few months. So I don't. I used to have incorporate a lot of cheese into my keto lifestyle, but I've actually stopped eating dairy too. So that's another
yeah.
thing too. So yeah, I mean, my journey has definitely changed throughout the 5 years on keto. But I don't know. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And you kind of go through different periods. I think a lot of it is learning too. Um, and then I would say the way I eat today is very different than when I ate 5 years ago. I would say because 5 years ago when I got into it, I did start off doing kind of total carbs, but I went quickly into the net carbs because I still wanted the keto cookies and I still wanted the keto brownies, um, and it's kind of transitioned now where I don't eat a lot of that stuff. I still eat a little bit of it every now and then, but not like I used to. And then um, so it's just kind of transitioned over time as well. So it's been good. I eat a lot more whole foods. I've gone back to total carbs. I did that about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So most of it is wholesome foods because if you're doing total carbs, and I do limit my carbs pretty severely, uh, and but it's worked for me. And again, and I limit my cheese right now. I limit my dairy. I'm using almond milk in my coffee right now. It's not the best, but
Yeah,
it's working. I can survive on it, right?
that's a big transition. Yeah, from like heavy cream to almond milk or like macadamia nut milk. Yeah, but
Yeah,
once you get your taste buds, they adjust. And
yeah,
like if you've been doing keto a while too, like if you have something that's sweet, like your taste buds would just light up because
yeah,
you're not used to that.
yeah,
Because your taste buds change when you're on keto, and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, can you attest to that too? I mean, I'm sure your taste buds have changed a lot
Oh,
too.
yeah, definitely. And now when you eat something, I know when I make something right now, I only put like I'm using a sweetener. I probably use a third of what I used to use as far as sugar, just because I don't like stuff nowhere near as sweet as I used to. I'm pretty lucky because my wife's Filipino, um, and she, in their country they don't eat a lot of sweet foods, so she's not a sweet person either. start with. So that's actually really helped because she's not always telling me, make it sweeter, and she's not a keto person.
Oh, okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of times she'll say, oh, this is still too sweet. So
That's good. Yeah.
yeah, you can really taste it. Like I say, yesterday, that steak, they put some kind of sauce on it. Man, as soon as took a bite of it and said, boy, I don't know what this is, but it ain't good. So,
Yeah.
it's like, it's sweet, and I'm thinking it's some kind of red wine sauce, but I'm thinking they probably put some sugar or something in the wine sauce to try to enhance the taste, and instead they ruined the steak. So,
Jeez.
but that's
Yeah. I
my
mean,
opinion.
it happens, when you're eating out. Yeah, you don't know what they're putting in the food half
Yeah,
the time. You don't know, and unfortunately, yeah. I mean, we paid a price for it, and it's really a shame because right now, like, I only eat out at a few. Like, I could literally count on my hand which places I go out to eat for lunch, because I
yeah,
know it's gonna be somewhat clean, and I'll be able to stay on track on
yeah,
keto. And if I go venture out, I'm just taking a risk. I'm taking a chance that something's going to be in it that doesn't agree with me, and yeah, it's going to be a catastrophe. But then you learn from where you went. You learn from your mistakes, and you say, okay, this place is no longer acceptable. You can't eat here. I mean, if you're trying to be
yeah,
keto, but then
yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's basically what you got to do. You get, like you said before, you got to find what works for you,
yeah,
and just stick to the basics if you can, because that'll be the best form of action there.
yeah. So here, let's say, Dark Angel asked a question about he had done keto before and failed, um, and recommendations to make sure that it happens and he doesn't fail. So he also talked in the comments about pasta was his trigger.
Oh,
Now
that's
you're
Leanne.
Leanne.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. She's a Dark Angel. Yeah,
okay. Uh,
yeah. Oh, pasta. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, you can find different forms of keto friendly pasta. There's different types of like, I know konjac noodles. You can use that as pasta. I know a lot of people don't like them though, because they have
yeah,
a funny texture. Like some people say they're like rubber bands, but
yeah,
there's other options. There's Paul Meany makes some sort
yeah.
of noodles, keto
Yeah,
noodles.
Palm Hearts.
Yeah, Palma Hearts. There's also, I know Perfect Keto. They make some sort of noodle as well, right? I think they just
Yeah,
started coming out with that. I mean,
yeah,
you just gotta, you can find them online. I mean,
yeah,
the only issue is that a lot of these things are expensive.
yeah,
However, if you're trying to stick to keto, sometimes it's worth the extra couple bucks to get it and be prepared, rather than go off, and have a cheat meal when it could have been avoided if you had it readily available. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I will. I will tell you that we actually have gone. I've gone through a couple of renditions, and I know some other folks have as well. Um, and I know I got it from Anita from Ketogenic Woman up in Canada, and she makes her own pasta, but she makes a carnivore pasta or a carnivore-ish pasta, and I've actually made it, and it's actually really really good. Um,
Yeah.
and it comes out more like an egg noodle, um, kind of a pasta. So it's flat and thin, but so you can actually make your own, and you can make a bunch of it and then freeze some of it and then pull them out when you want to, and as well. So there's that route as well, and it's mostly, like I say, and that's probably why it's like egg. She takes it and she mixes it, and I like I said, I got a couple of videos on it as well. Plug for my channel, so go over there and watch those there. But you play it in a cookie sheet and lay it flat and then bake it, and it comes out, and then you just slice it into noodles, and you can have them as thick as you want or as thin as you want. And I know she takes a pasta. She has a pasta maker. She runs them through the pasta maker um, once the sheet is done, and cuts them into pasta strips. But they're actually really good. you know, you just got to take some time to make them. So, but let's see. There was also a question. I don't know whether I can. Rick's in here from Twin Brooks. So, hey, Rick, how are you doing? Let's see if anybody else is joining here. I know Rory keeps asking questions, and I know I'm kind of missing a bunch of them.
Yeah,
I know
Rory's going to ask questions. Like, he's going to ask questions all the time. He's got a lot of questions.
Yeah, I know Jason and Dustin are answering a lot of them for him. So, as well as Lindy. So,
oh, that's good.
But now I also saw. Do you say so? You talked a little bit about your workouts and stuff of that nature. Do you have a routine, a daily routine that you follow, or is it kind of more?
Well, not necessarily, but I will say that I do have like push days and pull days, and I'm basically working out at home. So I have my home gym. I have my dumbbells. I have my barbell. I had an exercise bike as well. And what I would do is I would work out, let's say on Monday, I would do a push day. And then on Wednesday, I would do a pull day. And on Friday, I would do legs. And in between that, like I would sprinkle in a little bit of cardio here and there. And yeah, that would pretty much be my whole week of working out. Like I wouldn't say that I would have like that much of a regimen, but I would pretty much stick to like the basics. Like, and I wouldn't use like a whole lot of weight as well. Like I wouldn't work out like maxing out weights. Like I would do, like I was actually doing something that David Goggins would do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you, David Goggins, he mentioned in a podcast, I believe it was on Joe Rogan's podcast, that he would do one single exercise for 100 reps. So it doesn't matter what you do. Like you got to complete 100 reps of that particular exercise, whatever it is, whether it's push-ups, sit-ups, or anything. Dealing with dumbbells. So I would actually start off with that as a warm up, and then I would go into the working sets. And by that time, the working sets, yeah, you only get maybe 3-4 sets in, you're done. So I'm not going to be spending like anywhere near an hour getting my workout done. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely beneficial to keep the muscle on, to even increase muscle mass. Working out's definitely very beneficial for you guys, and cardio too. I mean, cardio's very helpful for you. And yeah, I mean, I don't rely on it to per se lose weight. However, it does help to shape your body in a way where you would actually look pretty good with whatever weight you have on you. So
yeah,
it's definitely beneficial.
So you ever done? Yeah. And I was really surprised when I heard this, because I know a couple of my I had Scott from Scott's, what is it? Platte River Keto was on the channel a while back, and he talked a little bit about doing DDP yoga.
Oh, DDP yoga.
Yeah, I was really, really, really surprised, because that's up with your other alley of your channel, the whole wrestling part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. DDP, yeah. That's some good yoga, though. I mean, it's definitely, he's got all types of different levels too. I mean, you could try it. I mean, I personally, I didn't find that it was that too much of a strenuous workout per se, because it was definitely dealing more with mobility and flexibility. However, it's definitely has its place, and but yeah, I mean, DDP comes from the wrestling world. I mean, you'll be surprised to know how many of these wrestlers, they are on keto, low carb, a variation of the two to stay in the tremendous shape that they're in. I mean, big names are doing keto, and they're doing low carb. I mean, just to maintain their bodies when they're on the road too. I mean, so it really goes hand in hand in that aspect.
Yeah. I actually saw somebody doing a video on, they did the top 10 professionals that are doing keto, and I was really surprised at the names that the guys were throwing out there. LeBron James was one of those folks out there, just folks out there that are big sports names that talk about it and actually helps them drive their performance and helps enhance their workouts and all kinds of stuff. So I was really surprised by that. So
I mean, you never know who's on it, and I mean, it just goes to show you that there's so much benefit that keto can offer. And another thing, I like to binge watch different shows, like different reality shows here and there. And I don't know if you ever seen this show with the cruises, Below Deck. And Below Deck is where they have like the real like 1%. They go out to all these like fancy getaways on these private yachts, and I was surprised to see like a lot of them are saying no carbs, and it's crazy to see that. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see that, but it's just crazy. Is it like it's catching on? A lot of people are seeing the benefit of keto without, and I know a lot. It's hurting the medical industry. It would hurt the medical industry if everyone found out about this amazing lifestyle that would literally, save lives. It's just a shame.
Yeah. So Tom Garvey just popped in. Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hey, Tom.
And I do want to I'm going to make another plug because, hey, on the yesterday's video that I released, we are doing an Amazon gift card giveaway. So if you would like to participate in that giveaway, go over there and check out that video and enter. It's my 5,000 subscriber appreciation giveaway. So go over there and check that out. So just a plug for that. So Dark Angel was saying, besides she's in the Hall of Fame of your wrestling channel, but she was saying she was actually saying that she was having trouble not losing weight. Where was it? She was saying, I'm not losing weight. What am I doing wrong? So you got any tips or pointers for her maybe?
At that point, you got to take a step back and see what you're consuming. If you're having too many calories, if you're consuming too many calories, it's a possibility, that could be the culprit. I mean, if your carbs are too high, you could be retaining more water. I mean, it all depends what kind of lifestyle you're living, and you just got to basically take a step back and see what you're consuming, and that's pretty much going to be the answer right there. I mean, and then you could tailor fit it to way you will reap the benefits of, per se. Let's say if you wanted to lose weight, okay, perhaps you should reduce what you're consuming on a continual basis. I mean, and see if you're seeing any benefit from that. Of course, the best thing you could do is see how you're feeling. I mean, don't even worry about the scale. Like, worry about how you're feeling. Like, are you feeling good? If you're not, that's the best course of action, I'd say.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. Is you really got to understand what you're eating. And, because a lot of times people eat condiments and they don't realize that, the ketchup and all the different barbecue sauces and all the things that we're putting on our food have a ton of carbs in them. And they're counting the food, but they're not counting the stuff they're putting on the food, salad dressings, even the stuff you drink. You'd be amazed. You have a fruit, have some kind of a fruit drink or something like that, and it has a ton of carbs in it. So you really got to understand what's going on. So you got to kind of, like you said, take a step back and kind of start saying, hey, what am I consuming? And kind of start looking at what am I consuming and, and what am I doing that I shouldn't, and try to eat. They say shop at the perimeter of the aisle. So start to stay with the meats and the veggies, and limit anything else that you're eating. So
one ingredient foods, I'd say. Yeah, just like one ingredient foods, and I mean, and all these other things too, like with the like the flavorings and all that. Like you got to try to limit those, because you never know what these flavorings are doing. I mean, for instance, I used to love drinking these flavored seltzers, like the ones with the lime and the lemon or mango or orange, and if you look at the back of it, it says filtered carbonated water and natural flavors. So there's not any bit of orange in that drink. So they've been able to capture the essence of orange with chemicals, and it's really it's terrible, because with me, I was getting like all kinds of gut issues. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. All I'm drinking is a seltzer with my meal. I'm like, so I cut that out, and lo and behold, my gut feels a lot better now. But and they put natural flavors in a lot of things, so you got to be careful for that. I mean, I'm one of those people that I'm sensitive to that. I mean, I'm sure not everyone is sensitive to it, but if you're one of those people that are sensitive to it, I'd say steer away from that. It could cause inflammation, gut issues, and it's just terrible. I mean, but I know a lot of people like to drink diet soda on keto. I mean, it's technically the carbs. It's technically you could have it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it's just not good for you. But what do you think about that, Alan?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. You got to really, to me anyway, you really got to be careful of it. And I will. Again, somebody asked a question about whether soda is keto or not, and the I guess what they call the keto sodas or the low carb sodas. And I would say, even those, you got to really be careful and limit what you do. Again, a lot of them have maltodextrose in them, and they have dextrose, and they have a lot of stuff in them that's not good for you, not healthy for you. I would really try to limit what you're drinking. And as far as some of them goes, like I know LaCroix. Everybody talks about LaCroix. I'm not a big fan of LaCroix. I drank a couple of them and I didn't like them. I've drank some of the other ones as well. I didn't care for. There's a couple out there. The Zevia ones are pretty good, and they are pretty good. But so you got to really, like I say, really be careful. I will have a Diet Coke, like if we go out to dinner, I'll have a Coke Zero or something like that. But it's pretty rare, maybe once, twice a month. My wife's, again, she's not a soda person. So we really try to be careful on anything I drink, and, just try to be careful. So.
But that's good. That your wife supports you in your journey though with keto, right? That's great.
Yeah, she's not a keto person, but she does. Well, she's seen that huge benefit from my health. I went from a 240-pound guy, now I'm down to 180 pounds, and and a lot more physically fit and active now than I was when I was 55, right? When we first got together. So she's seen that transformation, so she wants to continue to happen, right? She doesn't want me to go back to that point where, again, like you said, helping the medical professionals get rich. off of us, you know.
Right.
She
Yeah.
would rather have me being rich in life and enjoying, you know, my time. So, you know, again, I'm not a young guy. I'm in my mid 60s. I know Tom's on here. He's like that as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's up there as well. So, you can do this, and you don't have to be 25 to do this. And I think for me, I feel like I'm 35, and that's an issue because I gotta be careful because I'll try to do things I probably shouldn't. So.
That's all right though. Hey, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, my fiance, like, of course, she supports me, but she has all kinds of different snacks in the house, and
Yeah.
because she's not keto. However, she understands that I have to do this because if I eat the way I used to before, like you, I'll go right back to where I started, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but even my family too. My family's not keto, so I don't have like that much of a support system. I had to really do it all myself, but
Yeah.
it was definitely a beneficial because but even with my success, even like my dad, he's diabetic. He won't take the plunge to even try it, you know, like he wants to eat his bread and cookies and
Yeah.
everything, and just take his insulin, you know, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's his decision. I understand, but
Yeah.
but even with my, you know, with my transformation, like you know, it doesn't not everyone's going to follow through. You know, they're not going
Yeah.
to like you can lead a horse to water. You don't know if they're going to take a drink or not. Like, you know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just,
true. That's true.
yeah.
For
I
me
mean,
anyway, because I see like my mother when she was taking her insulin destroys your organs. I mean, you don't realize it. It destroys your
mm,
kidney. It's destroying your liver. It's keeping you alive, but it's at the same time it's destroying your organs at the same time. So, you know, there's a trade-off of there, you know. So, you know, so at what age do you want to start doing dialysis and all that stuff? So, what are you pointing at? So,
oh, Tom, he wants one of my belts for his
uh,
show.
tell him he's going to wrestle you for it. Huh?
Yep, yep.
So Rory's asking about the is you know, the keto, Sprite, Coke, Pepsi, Gatorade, or you know, Powerade, and you know, okay for you. So and I don't know.
Yeah,
And I agree.
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't consume any of this. However, you know, if it works for you, then by
Yeah,
all means you can have it. But for me personally, I wouldn't drink it because it would really hurt my gut. Like I don't feel right drinking like the Coke Zero, this Coke Zero, Sprite, the diet Sprite, and all the diet sodas. I can't mess with them. I actually love them, but I can't mess with them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love the taste of them, but you know, comes down to like, are you going to continue to like to harm yourself? Because that's what you're doing. If you're eating something that doesn't agree with you, why are you going to continue eating it, right?
yeah,
So that's my case. So, but you know, if you're okay consuming it, then it would fit. The macros would fit on a low carb ketogenic lifestyle. It would, however, the ingredients aren't typically clean in those. So you'll be doing a variation of, say, like of dirty keto,
yeah,
because dirty keto is like, say, you could consume all types of different foods with ingredients just as long as you hit your fall within your macros of you know, you keep the carbs low, and you keep the carbs below a certain level. And yeah, I mean, that's a different form, but yeah, you could do that.
yeah. I would just say if you're doing the Gatorade or if you're doing the the Powerade, because they have a lot of sugar in them and stuff, and even the sugar-free ones have maltodextrose and stuff in them. You know, you're better off to get some kind of electrolyte. You know, you can get something like the Keto Chow electrolyte drops, or some kind of electrolyte that doesn't have any of that stuff in there. And be careful when you're buying them, because I know there's like a liquid hydrin or a liquid, I don't know what, a liquid IV or something, but that has a ton of sugar in it too. So make sure if you're getting electrolytes and going to make your own drink, you check the ingredients. So do you read labels, Matt?
Yeah, I read all labels before I buy. I'll read the label off of meat as well. Like I read labels off of everything, because you never know what's in it. But yeah, like when I first started keto, like I went through a huge transition. Like I loved the keto breads, the keto cookies, keto brownies, like all the pre-made keto desserts and all that. Like I was so much into all that stuff, and yeah, a lot of that stuff, the ingredients are kind of sketchy, but I would indulge. I would have, but yeah, like throughout the years, like I really don't have those anymore, and mainly because like it hurt my gut. Like I didn't understand why I would eat this stuff, and I would run straight to the restroom. Like I just, I was going from eating the actual brownies to keto brownies, and it would help me in that aspect to transition. But with that being said, like today, like I'm not even going. I don't even make keto desserts anymore. Like I just typically go with dark chocolate, like 85% or higher. Like I would just have a few pieces of dark chocolate, and I would feel fine. But yeah, I don't. I read labels. Yeah, I definitely read them. What about you?
I do too. I'm again, even in meat, like you said, I've found some interesting things now, because they're doing stuff now to try to make it sweet. And Tom wants that belt. He wants to cover for his elbow.
You want the belt? Yeah.
But even tuna, cans of tuna, and you read the can of tuna, and the third ingredient is sugar. It's like, what?
Yeah, or soy too. Some of them,
soy. They're using soy, some kind of soy oil, which causes inflammation, and then they're putting sugar in them now because people it's sweeter, so it helps enhance the taste, I guess. I don't know, but again, and then I know a lot of meats are cured in sugar, which I'm not. Depending on where it is on there, I'm not so like bacon. Almost all bacon is cured in some kind of sugar. It's pretty hard to find bacon that's not. Hot dogs as well. So you really got to really be careful on types of even meats, like you said. And then, my wife will hand me a product. She says, "Is this any good?"
Yeah.
No, she won't just put it in the cart anymore, because she'll want my opinion. So Ron's here from Ron's Keto Cafe. And then Dark Angel was talking about she's actually going out and buying some keto foods. And got recommendations for her?
Oh yeah, I sent Dark Angel this is a PDF I have here of keto approved foods. So I actually made this, and I share this out with anybody who sends me an email. I'll just send it to you. But yeah, like these are all like the keto approved foods here, and yeah, if you just follow this, Dark Angel, you'll be fine. And actually, I laminated this, and I just I check off what I need from my pantry and my fridge, and I'll go to the grocery store with this, and that's what I do. So I have this, and I actually made this too. Like I just put it together myself, and then. But yeah, I Dark Angel, if you just pull that out, yeah, those are all approved foods. But yeah, just stick to one ingredient foods, meat, veggies, green leafy veggies, and if you want to have dairy, you can have a little cheese if you like. You can have berries. You can have a little bit of fruit. Like berries are the best bet for you. And if you want something sweet, yeah, definitely get like dark chocolate, like at least 85% or higher. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just like Alan said too, stay on the outer perimeters of the grocery store. Like, don't go
Yeah.
inside the inner aisles. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really need any of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the stuff is okay. However, yeah, it's not
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah. And I would say even the first couple of weeks when you're doing it, kind of stay away from some of that, like the chips, the Quest chips and the high-low chips and some of the keto snacks and stuff like that. And just kind of get your body into ketosis. And I would say 4 to 6 weeks before you venture into that dirtier side of keto. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to. It's a transitional phase, and I know if you're gonna go straight like cold turkey, like going from carbs, like burning your primary fuel source as carbs to fat, you may experience something called the keto flu. And if that happens, I mean, you basically just got to have more electrolytes. So get some sea salt and stay hydrated. Stay hydrated
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Now, there's something else I was going to mention, and now it slipped my mind. So, but anyway, oh shoot, there was something I was going to ask you, and now.
Was it about supplements, maybe, or?
Oh yeah. So, what kind of supplements do you take? Do you take supplements first of all? I guess.
I actually don't. I don't take any supplements. When my gut was a bit disturbed, I was taking aloe vera capsules, and those are very good. Actually, if you do have any stomach issues, I would recommend that aloe vera capsules. Those are very good for your gut, and yeah, that actually helped me out a lot too. Even now, like say if I have something in my stomach's feeling kind of iffy, I'll have some aloe vera capsules, and I feel great like the next day. But other than
Yeah.
that, no supplements. And I used to be the guy that had the GNC tag on my my keychain. I
Yeah.
used to be getting supplements every month. Like I used to get the Mega Man and the Arginine, and I used to buy the
Okay.
protein powders. I used to do
Yeah.
all that, and I don't do that anymore. It's just all
Yeah.
the added ingredients they put in those things, like the chemicals and all that. It's just not good. I mean, it's really terrible if you look at all the ingredients they're putting in these different supplements. But yeah, if you're eating right, if you're eating enough like whole foods, you're eating right, and maybe even incorporating some organ meats as well into your diet, like liver. You don't need any added supplementation
Yeah.
if you're having anything like that. But of course, if you do feel like you need any supplementation, by all means, I'm not against taking supplements if you need them. But however, I don't take any.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
do take a few. I take some collagen powder. If you see any of my videos, I usually have my collagen. I put it in my protein. But I use, like you said, you got to be really careful in any supplement. You got to read the ingredients on them because there's a lot of crap in them. So I try to really take my time and really try to do my research before I take anything. So I do that, as well as I do take some vitamin D. I take some fish oil. Um, some of that stuff is more because of my age. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm aging gracefully, uh, and trying to take some of that stuff. But I don't think I take a ton of stuff, but I do take some stuff. I do take some electrolytes, and I take those in my daily routine as well. So, um,
You have bone broth too?
I don't really drink a lot of bone broth or anything. Occasionally, my wife will make soup and she'll use bone broth in the soup, either chicken bone broth or beef bone broth. Whatever. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we don't use a ton of it. So,
Okay. Yeah, I like bone broth. Bone broth is good. Kettle and Fire makes a good one.
yeah,
The bone broth is pretty good. But yeah, they also put like apple cider vinegar in it and stuff. It's
yeah.
pretty wholesome. It's pretty good. But that's another thing too. You take any like lemon or apple cider vinegar or anything like that?
It's apple cider vinegar every once in a while, and my wife is pretty good about. She likes to put lemon in the water that we're drinking. Adds a little bit of flavor to it, and it supposedly helps you as well with the digestions and stuff like that. So we do that. I know I do take a magnesium pill as well, and I'll tell you, I do that. One of my subscribers suggested I start doing it just before I go to bed, and that really has helped me sleep better at night. And then I take like Jason said, a D3 K2. Again, that's probably more for my age because the K2 is supposed to really help with keeping your heart health and your veins clear and free of clogging from any kind of cholesterol and or gunk, right? But
Well, that's for but that's potassium, K2.
K2. I'm not exactly sure what vitamin K2 is. When I did the research on it, it just talked a lot about the benefits of it, and you should take it with the D3 because they act together.
I see.
And it's kind of like the collagen as well. So the collagen I take actually has vitamin C in it because of the fact collagen by itself does absolutely nothing. You have to have some kind of a vitamin C, either supplement and or consuming foods that are high in vitamin C, because the collagen needs a partner to work with, and it happens to be vitamin C. So, you know, but I'm not the biggest authority. But there's a lot of folks out there that believe if you're eating a good, healthy diet, you shouldn't take any supplements because you should be getting all your nutrients from your food.
Yeah, that's me. I don't take any supplements. I all my nutrients for the food and with fish oil. Like sometimes I have sardines, and that's pretty much all the fish oil I need with that. And yeah, no supplements. And actually, I don't even drink coffee. I don't drink. I transitioned from coffee, off coffee with decaf at first, and then after that I just switched completely just to water. So I don't even drink coffee or decaf anymore. I literally just drink water, and sometimes I'll have a berry smoothie on and that's pretty much it. That's all I drink really, and no desire to drink coffee. And I used to be a coffee addict too, and I used to wake up, I need my caffeine, and I have a big tub of caffeine, like a big cup. And yeah, I was a coffee addict too, but yeah, I got rid of that too.
Yeah, I know during the week, on the weekend I'll drink a little more coffee, but on the week I only have one cup, and that's usually first thing in the morning, and then it's water the rest of the day. So, hey, we've been here for almost an hour. We've been here over an hour and 20 minutes. So I really enjoyed the conversation, but I think I know taking time out of your day, I really appreciate it. It's Saturday, it's family day, and I know my wife's kind of chomping at the bit trying to. So I want to really appreciate you taking time out of your weekend and stopping by and visiting me for the morning, or my morning, your afternoon. And I know it's kind of kind of an oddball time. So any kind of parting words, any kind of final thoughts before we head out, or
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just say I wish everyone have a great Father's Day tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend, and as always, you got to do what's right for you, what's best for you, and in every aspect of life, and never give up. Keep doing what you got to do, and trust me, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to keep persistent, and just keep going. Don't do your best. Do your best not to go off course. Of course, we all go off course every now and then, but just make sure to stay on track for the most part. And yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You know, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Alan, for letting me be a part of your channel today. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming by. It's been a great conversation, so I've really enjoyed it. So go over there and check Matt's channel out. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, follow him. So yeah, it's a great channel. So we didn't really talk much about the wrestling side, so maybe someday we'll have to come back and we'll have to talk about that, and you'll have to teach me a little bit about it. Like I say, I was going to tell you about the time I went up to Canada. I was up, my family's from Maine, from up near Holton, Maine, which is right on the Canadian border, New Brunswick. And we actually got to go to a wrestling match in Canada, which was very different than the wrestling matches in the U.S. Much more audience interaction. So,
oh yeah, Canada's my favorite audience. Yeah, Montreal. You guys are awesome. Yeah, you guys and Puerto Rico too. You guys are great.
Yeah. So, but hey, I want to thank you. Thank you so much again. You guys just go over there and check it out. So it's a great channel. So I've enjoyed it. So, all right, you guys, make sure you give a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next one.
Okay. Be safe. Be well.